Is October 7th. We are in Istanbul, Turkey. I'm looking out from our hotel room. It's the palace. This is the view we get. This is a bridge. It's the other side of the lake. This is the palace grounds, right in front of our hotel. We're on a balcony. Very, very pretty setting here. Looking directly across now from our balcony to the balconies next door. The name of the water is called the Bosphorus Sea. There's the ship on the sea now. This is where we're in this was created by the Byzantine Empire when the city of Constantinople was under siege. This is where they stored their water. It's a huge, huge, huge cavern. This is one of the huge corridors.
Did you know over there? Look if you catch it over there, look how the lights flash on now. See?
Where?
Get this feeling too. Over in there, zoom in on it. They're using their zoom at all.
During the reign of Emperor Constantine the Great. The first church of Saint Sophia was totally destroyed during a riot. It had to be rebuilt in the 5th century by Emperor Theodosius II. Again destroyed during another riot, which was against the exile of a patriarch. And then rebuilt in the 6th century by Emperor Justinian, a very reputable Byzantine emperor, Justinian. The third construction was completed in 537 AD. So this edifice that we are going to see right now belongs to 537, 6th century. This is the level of the second church of Saint Sophia. It is much lower level. And then you see the trees over there, which you see on this picture. On this picture, you see the facade of the church, of the second church of Saint Sophia, Theodosian period, between 404 and 415 AD, 5th century. So the facade was different than what you see today. So for about 900 years, until the 15th century, this became the most important church for Christians. They all came down to Constantinople and visited this place. It almost became a place for pilgrimage. And what happened in the 15th century, the Ottoman Turks conquered Constantinople, giving an end to the Byzantine Empire. It was Sultan Mehmet II who succeeded to conquer Constantinople, and from then onwards it became an Islamic city. And this church was immediately converted into a mosque. Necessary additions were made, like these minarets, putting up these minarets, or like the praying niche or the pulpit. Necessary additions that you always see in a mosque. For about 600 years it was a mosque, and in 1935 it was converted into a museum by the order of Kemal Atatürk, the founder of the Turkish Republic. So 900 years as a Christian church, 600 years as an Islamic mosque. So a museum since 1935. The important thing is that when this was used, when this was a Christian church, there were lovely mosaics belonging to 9th, 10th and 11th centuries. We don't have any mosaic belonging to earlier periods, 6th or 7th century, because in the 8th century there was a period called iconoclastic period. I don't know if you've ever heard of this period. No toleration for human images. So they destroyed all the mosaics. And when this period was over in the second half of the 8th century, they started doing them again, showing some scenes from Bible, Jesus Christ, Virgin Mary, some Byzantine emperors and empresses. But when this was converted into a mosque in the 15th century, also Islam doesn't accept any human image in the worshipping place. So what they had to do was to cover them up with plaster and whitewash, and they put some Arabic inscriptions on top of the plaster and whitewash. By doing so, these mosaics were kept away from the eyes of the Islamic believers. But when it was converted into a museum in 1935, the American Institute of Byzantine Art started to remove all the plaster and whitewash. So you can see some of these beautiful mosaics today. In the garden, you see different columns, sarcophaguses, pulpits, all belonging to different periods of this construction. And they were found around the church during various excavations. Now we are going to see the interior of the church. It's a of Byzantine Empire on the sides of Mary. One on the right-hand side is Emperor Constantine the Great, a 4th century emperor, offering her a model of Constantinople. He is the one who brought Christianity into Constantinople. On this vertical inscription, it reads as Constantine, the great emperor among the saints. He definitely did not deserve this expression because he accepted baptism a few minutes before he died. And then on the other hand side, we see Emperor Justinian, 6th century emperor, the builder of this church, offering her a model of this church. And again on the vertical inscription, it reads as Justinian, the illustrious emperor. Can any of you read all three? No. So I'm on the safe side.
This is the Blue Mosque.
They drove like crazy. Best place, best spot to get the picture of
This is the Blue Mosque. Go right up to the fence and you would have all the people in front of you.
To give us a dissertation on where we're at. We are in the Blue Mosque now.
The manufacturer of carpets, and the gentleman will explain you how they weave carpets and all kinds of designs, double knots. Turkish carpets are all woven with double knots. That makes the carpets last much longer. Where is everybody? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Yes, very true. That's very true.
I've been looking for one for 2.5 years.
2.5 years. This is the day.
This is my day.
This is the day. Okay. All right. Blue Mosque was built between 1609 and 1616 by Sultan Ahmed I. That's the name of the Sultan who had it built. The name of the architect who built it is Mehmet. So Sultan Ahmed called Mehmet into his presence and he said, "Look, Mehmet, you have to make me a mosque with golden minarets."
Or else.
Yes. So the architect was in trouble because gold is a soft metal and those high spires cannot be made of gold because gold is very soft. On the other hand, the architect was extremely worried about his health. So he wanted to keep it on his body. So he had to present the Sultan an excuse not to be able to make the golden minarets. So finally he pretended that he misunderstood the Sultan's word.
This is one of 3 obelisks in this area here. And it's this is now 12 o'clock noon, and the prayer sounds in the background. We're aboard ship now. Today's the 9th. This is the Bosporus, and this is one of the main bridges that we're passing. Very cloudy day today. So a warm breeze blowing, but it's about I'd say it's about 70 degrees right now.
And it goes to the guest house for originally has resided here actually in the 1889. That is a small brother that we can see on the starboard side. Seite der dort vorgehen, dass es ist Kommandschina entwickelt, der neue Brücke and this was built, of course, by the Ottomans earlier than the one you see over on the left-hand side. They built this already in 1395 when they tried to conquer Constantinople. And the castle had been restored then in 1925. Just over before we see the castle, or to the right-hand side of the castle, a very nice small palace which had been of one of the viziers of the ministers of the Sultans. He built this little castle that you can see, which has beautiful gardens. Auf der Steuerbordseite zunächst, bevor wir die Burg sehen, dieses kleine Schlösschen, das hat einem Wesir gehört des osmanischen Sultans. Er hat das hier gebaut. Auf der Backbordseite
There's a castle.
An der Stelle, wo wir uns jetzt befinden, hat sich geschichtlich sehr viel stattgefunden. 512 hat der Perserkönig Darius hier eine Mordbrücke schlagen lassen und hier sind im Jahr 1095 die Teilnehmer des ersten Kreuzzuges in umgekehrter Richtung übergesetzt. On this part now it's a historical ground. As early as in 512 BC, the Persian Emperor Darius I has crossed over from Asia to Europe, and much later, 1500 years later, in 1097 AD, the participants of the First Crusade crossed here in the opposite direction on their way to the Holy Land.
Is that a castle that we saw?
We are getting now to the new Bosphorus Bridge, which has been built by a Japanese consortium and with some Italian participation as well. And that is slightly longer than the bridge we had already passed before. If you watch out on the starboard side, you can see a fishing vessel there in action. And there is plenty of fish here in Bosphorus because of the currents of the mixture of relatively fresh water and salt water and so on. And it is the season now with the small tuna fish. And if you have been walking from the
just leave them. Try again. Third try to get the pilot off. There goes the pilot. We are now at what they call the Crimea Peninsula, and we are about to arrive in Yalta.
Then you can see the swallow's nest right over there. That's the knot. See that sort of little castle?
Oh, there it is, Barb.
Where is it? Oh, there it is. There it is. That's what I wanted to get. Did hold my glasses?
Oh, I think I see it now.
Okay. Okay, I'm leaning on the rail to steady it, so don't holler. And the picture jumps around. This is a rough rail. That is a castle sitting up on the top of the rock. That one of the Tsars built for his mistress. Yalta is a resort community which became accessible when Catherine the Great had roads built into this area. Otherwise, it was only accessible by ship. One of the resorts where the Russian people are sent by their companies their paid vacations. The tugboat had quite a time with getting the pilot off. Very rough. A lot of people speak it.
Now the battery's working. This is the Yalta we're in now. As we're looking out of our porthole window.
Just open the different
Here is where Chicago.
Here, Chicago.
Chicago.
Chicago, New York.
Chicago.
New York over here.
Yes,
New York
yes.
over here.
Yeah,
San
sure.
Francisco,
Yeah.
Los Angeles.
How do you know that? How do you know?
I don't know.
How do you know the different places? Oh.
So it isn't difficult to know everything about the United States.
Do they, you have,
From Germany.
Goes Germany to Turkey. Germany to Turkey.
Смотри в окна.
Then you,
What is your name? I'm Barbara. Barbara, who are you?
Шуингам.
What's your name? What's your name? I'm Barbara. Who are you? What's your name?
Well, that's fine.
My
What's your
name
name?
is Сережа.
Could I have your picture?
Сережа.
No, it's just the same
Ира.
Germany.
My name is Ира.
Ira. What is your name? What's your name?
My name is Сережа.
And your name is.
Котя.
Right, thank you.
And what is your name? Is your name?
so you don't go to
But war is going there, see?
Yeah, war is on there. Right.
We're going to Odessa tomorrow.
Спорили.
Hello there. Hello.
Ask how old are you?
Hello.
How old am I?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
70.
70, 70.
Я не угадал, он сказал 50, я старше.
One man said that you are 50. Another man said you are 60. But they were
Сеньора.
mistaken.
А Шуингам?
70.
Right. How old are you? How old are you?
I'm 64.
You're 64?
А мне лиры.
Me too.
But
You speak the English?
Yes.
Huh? Do you understand
yes.
English?
You speak English?
Well,
А? Ай,
Пойдем.
всё.
He speaks English, he says. He speaks English.
А кто это?
американцы.
Американцы?
Do you live here or are you just vacationing here?
Pardon? Yes.
You live here or you vacation?
No, no,
Сеньора,
on my
give me
vacation.
please.
You're on your
Старый
vacation.
Ливадия Спеллс.
Friend son.
$1.
Where do you live? Where do you
What city?
live?
What city do you
I live
live?
in Ukraine. There is such city Zaporozhye on the Dnieper. I'm electrotechnical engineer.
Oh,
I'm working now, but my pension age is 60.
Oh.
So
my pension age is 65.
yes, I know. But that you work
Корабли.
65 for men and for women, yes?
Come to Chicago and visit
Сеньора,
us.
ну
Oh, I don't
Шуингам?
think so. It will be possible now.
It'd be more possible now.
Yes, it depends on money, you see. It's
Yes.
impossible.
Right.
Yeah, money
Everything takes money.
America?
Сеньора, ну классно. Он еще один.
You know where Chicago is? What do you know about Chicago?
Сердце. Иди туда. Иди туда, придурок.
Should wear a jacket, I think. It's cooler here.
Pell Mell.
Pall Mall cigarettes?
Pell Mell speak English. So. Very bad.
This palace was constructed. This palace was constructed during 20 years, from 1828 till 1848. It was made of the Crimean stone that is called diabase. You see this huge rock, for example. It's very hard stone. It is twice as hard as granite is. And try to imagine how it was possible to construct such a huge building. And by the way, it's handmade. No machines were used at that period of time.
This
And
is
this palace
Lubka
was made
Palace.
according to the design of English architect Edward Lord. But he had never been to the Crimea, to Alupka, and this palace was constructed under the supervision of another English architect, Boone. This is the northern facade of the palace, and it was made in the style of English castles of the 16th century. Yeah? But if you look attentively, you'll not see a pure English style. Look at the top part of the wall here. You see something Moorish in style. And this combination of different styles was used here to have no repetition nowhere in the world. And later on, we'll see the southern facade of this palace that was decorated in quite different style. All the decoration took place here. Among all the flowers, there was not a single repetition. Each flower was decorated in its own way. And if you look attentively, you'll see that all the decorations here were made in the forms of flowers or petals of flowers. In a distance to your left-hand side, there is the fireplace. By the way, it is decorated with white Italian marble. And in the top part of it, you see the different leaves, flowers, and so on. On the fireplace, there are two candlesticks made in the form of flowers. These two big chandeliers, by the way, they were made of mountain crystal, made like petals of flowers, yeah? As for this here, to this palace in Aluka. On the piano and on the tables there are vases, they are original Wedgwood vases. And when the family lived here in this room was used like a family theater, yeah? There was the sliding door here that gave the opportunity to divide this room into two parts. Now we are standing on the stage of this family theater, and over there was the small...
We're on the terrace of Alupka Palace, which is in Yalta. Palace. Every room is different. Every parquet floor has a different pattern. Every room has a different theme. They didn't want it to be like anything else in the world. Stood up there all the time. I had it on standby. As soon as you said receive, you came down.
I got to sit. Turns out good.
What was his problem? Okay.
What's his problem, I wonder? Doesn't
Whose
want
problem?
him doing that, huh?
What's that?
I said, I don't think he wanted... he's yelling at him for some reason.
Kids are darling. There was one there at the pier that looked just like Brian, my grandson.
Barb, we're going. Barb doesn't want to go. How do you say that?
This is the Swallow's Nest. It's a castle. We're on Yalta right now. Still on Yalta.
Okay, on the outside.
$4. I think he'll go $4.
This is where the Potsdam Agreement was signed. Churchill and Stalin and Roosevelt.
Proszę Państwa, to jest pałac jałtański. Poczekacie Państwo na mnie z tej strony, tutaj przy tych dwóch tych. Ja pójdę z drugiej strony, kupię bilety i przewodnika i tam kapcie włożymy i przejdziemy. Możecie sobie Państwo sfotografować.
Okay, which one is Churchill? You're Churchill? Who's Frankie?
I think I'll be Frank.
You want to be Frankie? Your mother-in-law would she'll turn over in a grave if she heard you say that. And who's this guy?
So that's him.
Lennon.
This is Rudy.
What did he lose? His butt.
You know, they're breaking up the bus all over.
I think Franklin sat in the middle. And either side was...
There he is. I'm so glad you came to the party.
Newspaper Pravda that was published just after this Yalta conference. The main question that they discussed here was the position of Germany after the war. For example, such questions as full elimination of military potential of fascist Germany, persecution of war criminals of the Second World War, compensation of war damage brought to the peoples of Europe. Besides, here was discussed the question about this Organization of United Nations. Some more words I'll tell you in the next room. Here was adopted Declaration of Liberated Europe. Here was discussed so-called Polish question about the future borders and future government of the state. Here was discussed the question about the war of the Soviet Union against military Japan.
Turn around.
This is a statue of Lenin. I don't know how long this is going to stay up, but we are still in Crimea. Flashing warning signal, something's going on.
We got right now.
Tells you don't use the camera.
Stand over there by that kiosk and I'll take a picture. You don't picture this as Russia.
We are now in Odessa. And the crowds you see there, the store hasn't opened yet, and this is a department store. They're all anxious to get in first to see what's available to buy.
We're now in Revolutionary Square in Odessa.
And the people came to tell them they are very bad. And sometimes their wives with the children came and there was some butchery. It was the end of the city. We were in the old part, and at the beginning of the city, the century, it was the beginning of the suburbs. And we will see when we will go further, we will see the buildings that they a bit newer, but they do not look so nicely. They are not with this ornamentation, they are not with the decoration. And this is the monument to our leader. When I was a little girl, we believed in all these stories about him, as he was very simple, that he was very, that he loved people. But now, some documents to kill the people who took part in the strikes against the people who do not think as he thought. So now they said that he was not so nice as they told us before. But I myself was a pioneer member, so you had the opportunity to look at him at this monument. Maybe soon it will be taken away, so I don't know what will happen.
You're being exposed.
Formerly Alphonse Church in Odessa is now a planetarium, hoping that it will now be restored to a church. Our friend Lemon.
This is the selling of the boxes. This is called a New Russian Entrepreneur. This is the tomb of the unknown sailor in Odessa. This is an obelisk. These are the guards. These are all the plaques lined up here for the unknown sailor. They have young girls here who are guards as well as young boys. This is the replacement guard. They just arrived by bus. They're going to replace them.
Make note of the mini-skirted Russian sailors. Whole new breed. Look at this sway. Watch those hips. Oh, and then get them from behind as you pass by.
This is a Russian wedding. Kids just getting married now.
Так, ребята, теперь для меня. Ребятки, смотрим друг на друга.
Ира, ты крепко сидишь? Да.
Олег, теперь ты рядом.
This is a picture of our group right here. We're all ready to go into the opera house and see the opera house in Odessa. This is the Odessa Opera House.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, now we are in the main hall of the Opera and Ballet House. You may see how beautiful it is. The stage is 500 square meters, and it is subdivided from the audience area and the stage by a very heavy metal curtain. And besides this heavy metal curtain, there is also another curtain made of velvet and decorated by the Soviet embroiders. Also, I would like to pay attention to this beautiful ceiling. You can see the pictures by a not very famous painter, Le Fleur. He also lived in Vienna, like the architects of this theater. And the scenes from the Shakespeare plays are depicted there. It's the Hamlet, the Twelfth Night, the Midsummer Dream. So these are scenes.
Oh, sorry.
The women are doing the work in the building. They're restoring the outside of it. They do the same work as the men out here. This is the bus that we got a tour of the city. It's a new bus. It's a Mercedes. This is a branch of the Danube Delta now. There's three branches, and this is the middle branch. And one side is the Ukraine, the Russian Ukraine, and the other side is the Romanian side. This is the one side here, and I'm going to swing across, and that's the other side. There's where the water, another branch meets. Typically in these waters there's 112 different types of fish and approximately 500 different types of birds that come here.
Left of this sandy beach area you see some cormorants sitting auf der Landfrontseite sind sie die Kormoran mit diesem kleinen Sandvorsprung.
This is sort of an island in the middle of the delta here. Here we have the Turkish influence on the side of the banks of the Danube here. I don't know. I'm confused. I thought this was the Russian side, but I think this is the Romanian side now.
Katzen, Marderhunde und so weiter. Also auch Säugetiere sind vielfältig hier im Donaudelta. Casino is equivalent or
That's Russian though, those temples, right?
No, those are Turkish kites.
Those are called minarets? Is that what
yeah.
Ukrainischen Kilia kommen, dass diese Seitenarm der
Are you taking the picture?
Yeah. Not Rudy. Loretta. So he decided to go back to the cabin with him. Forest area of Romania.
Green.
We're looking at Moldavia. Looks like their national bird is the crane. Never saw so many cranes. I don't know what they're doing. Do you think that has anything to do with oil? Didn't he count the cranes?
This area here is about 50 or 60.
It looks like you got 58 seconds.
In other words, I took 3 minutes. All day long we had 4 minutes left, and now I took those 4 minutes.
Oh, we may be over. I don't know.
Probably.